Hey, what's up everyone? I'm Devontae, and this channel, Life of Devontae, is centered around lifestyle, productivity, personal finance, and health. What I aim to do with this channel is document my journey of becoming a dentist and achieving any lifestyle goals, and hopefully help someone else along the way. I've had this channel since high school, and I used to make fashion-related content and skits for entertainment. I'm now 24, I'm just finishing up my first semester of school at a local technical college. But to speed things up for those who don't want to stay, the 4 major points in this video will highlight 1. Why I didn't go to college after high school. 2. Why I decided to go back. 3. Anxiety about starting college in my 20s. 4. My advice and outlook on starting college late. I'll figure out how to timestamp the segments down below. For everyone else that stays through the whole video, thank you in advance. I hope this video and my story helps you to not be discouraged and to take that next step. Let's get started. Now, why didn't I start college right out of high school? There's 3 main reasons. I hated school. I started making money really soon. I didn't really have a lot of moral support. First reason, I hated school and structure. I grew up more artistically inclined. I would spend hours drawing. Even though I had good grades in school, I hated the routine, the mundane system of school that felt like jail. Every day, every semester, every year, the same non-applicable to life subjects that train us to be good workers. I can still recall sitting in my class, staring out the window and imagining being on my way home, day in and day out. I would sketch most of the class and still pass the test. So it wasn't really much problem or issue for me for passing school. I just wasn't stimulated nor amused by it. Except for certain history and English teachers, most of school made me want to fall asleep. My creative muscles and ambition felt like they were being drained daily. Now the second reason, I believe I started making money too soon and it affected my desire to continue higher education. I got my first job when I was 14 over the summer working at a wildlife preserve, and I got a job every year after that. The thing about growing up poor, or statistically, like we weren't starving by any means, but growing up in the rural Southeast, scarcity mindset was prevalent. I'm sure many of you are familiar with the Stanford Marshmallow Experiment, led by Walter Mischel. If not, in a short form, they gave children a marshmallow and told them if they waited a certain amount of time to eat the first one, then they could have another. This was to measure immediate and delayed gratification in the children. Now, Vontae, what does this have to do with you going to college? Let me finish. I'll show you. As their kids grew up, their progression in life was tracked, and the findings were kind of shocking. The kids who waited for the second marshmallow generally performed better in life. They had higher SAT scores, lower substance abuse, better stress regulation, etc. For 40 years, they measured how the kids who could delay gratification had more successful lives. Coming from the rural South, where everything is slow-paced, but ironically, you should only be concerned with today and not tomorrow, I didn't learn how to flex the muscle of taming my immediate desires. When I got a job, naturally, I bought any and everything I wanted. And this continued throughout high school and even translated to more serious areas of my life. So in my opinion, having access to a paycheck at a young age to buy whatever my teenage heart desired may have hurt me more than I realized. Now the third reason why I didn't start college right out of high school, in all honesty, I just didn't have a very supportive foundation that promoted higher education. Being raised by a single mother, she did what was necessary in teaching me what she knew and understood, how to survive. Now, being competitive, confident, standing up for myself, and not taking no for an answer were things I had to learn via YouTube, books, and more male figures in my life. Not that those things are exclusively masculine traits, but my mother couldn't really help teach me those things. So even with the occasional, "You're smart, you should go to college," any teenager knows and understands when they have a supportive, involved family. I just didn't have that growing up. So over time, I learned to give it to myself. And listen, guys, I urge you to do the same thing. Don't spend too much time hurt about what you didn't get as a child. Learn how to find it yourself. You have no excuse. With the internet, none of us do. So, Vontae, what made you decide to start college at 23 years old? One reason, higher income and the FIRE movement. Second, more autonomy and job flexibility. And third, being selfish to be selfless. As I just mentioned, one of the reasons I decided to go back to college at 22, 23 years old was because I realized a dark truth. Very seldom do people who work in manual labor ever work their way up the ranks to make a considerably high salary. And when they do, what they could have accomplished by learning a skill would have taken less time. Most people in any laborious job cap out at $31K a year or $15 an hour according to ZipRecruiter.com. The average rent in my area is around $1,300 a month, not including utilities and other monthly expenses. Someone needing to make 3 times the base rent in order to be approved for the apartment, they would need to make $47,000 a year or $2,250, and that's just rent. So as sad as it sounds, working harder doesn't automatically qualify you to make more money. However, a degree in the right field, usually STEM, can fix that issue, and some high-paying skills as well. This realization, coupled with me finding out about the FIRE movement, which is financial independence, retire early, sparked my interest in securing a well-paid degree or a high-paying skill. Let me know down in the comments below if you want to see a video about my plan for FIRE in the future. Now, the second reason was more autonomy and job flexibility. Now, I'm not sure how many people will watch this, but I'm positive one of you may work, have worked at, or know someone who has worked a manual labor job. And don't take this personal, I work on right now. That low-level skill set of work does not offer much, if any, flexibility. I can't pick up and move across the country myself. I can't travel much. I am routinely micromanaged, and it doesn't feel as though I'm paid enough for what I deal with on a daily basis. All this to say that while these things may also exist in higher-paying fields, if I'm going to be dealing with these things, I at least want to be adequately compensated and have the option to switch employers and be paid more, if not the same. And as I've said, autonomy. Once you obtain a certain skill set, you are left to your own devices and you can just complete the task that you're expected to complete. I don't know about y'all, but I like that idea a lot. Also, comment down below whether or not you have autonomy and flexibility in your current job. The final reason I decided to start college at 23, again, was because I heard an interesting quote from one of my favorite YouTubers, Anton Daniels, which says something along the lines of, "You can't help anyone when you're broke." Realistically speaking, you can help people in an infinite number of ways outside of finances, but typically money and time are what people need from you. So, I knew that obtaining a marketable skill set or a high-paying degree was necessary for someone like me, who, wants to see people all over the world, be of service to as many people as possible. And at my current state, there's just not enough time and resources to make the impact that I want to make. Now, anxiety about starting college in my 20s. 3 main points here. There's a quote by Soren Kierkegaard from 1844 that says, "Anxiety is the dizziness of freedom." The second point, reading and journaling starts the fire, but it will burn quick. And the third point, talk to older people. Regret looks terrifying, that will be you. Soren Kierkegaard, regarded as the father of existential philosophy, quoted, "Anxiety is the dizziness of freedom." He referenced how people may have a logical fear of falling. Imagine ziplining for the first time. That queasiness in your stomach, the blood rushing from your legs and your face, that's every sense in our brain and body acknowledging an unknown outcome. Realizing that what happens next is our choice. At any given moment, we can leap into the unknown. To Kierkegaard, anxiety, or angst, as he called it, was just a reminder to not be complacent, and that a life entirely without anxiety would be one without possibility, mundane, unfulfilling, and would likely be just as depressing. To my second point, I began to journal, read books, watch hella YouTube videos like this one from far more successful creators, thinking, hoping that a fire would ignite and burn out the will to begin college. I watched hours of college major interviews, people in their 20s starting college, and I found my degree of choice. And these things help begin the process of being more productive. Progress to me is the result of daily discipline, a system that's personalized for you and the results you want. This system that you create can help ease anxiety because we know what to expect every day. In 2021, I signed up for classes at a local technical college. I took on way too many credit hours for a full-time associate. Without much planning, I pulled the trigger and I felt miserable. I dropped out. My living situation wasn't suitable and I was working way too many hours and I had spread myself way too thin for school. A year later, I just completed my first semester of college after 5 years of no school. Journaling helped somewhat to organize my finances and time a bit, but I knew for me, the focus had to be shifted to doing things and tracking my progress and my actions taking, not actions I wanted to take. Comment below if you're a victim of overplanning. Lastly, if you ever think you're too anxious to begin something you feel called upon to do, or even something that you know needs to be done, please. I'm asking that you go and speak to someone who is much, much older than you and I. If If you can talk to someone who's 60 and above or whatever, just older, ask them what is one thing or maybe even 3 things they wish they would have done that they feel is too late to start right now. It sounds like an unsympathetic question, but it's necessary. I think we should know what's waiting for us if we're fortunate, you and I, to make it to those golden years. Regret. I've spoken to lots of older people across the 8 different jobs I've had since 14. And the recurrent theme from the older folks has always been to be available for the things you love to do. And if you're thinking of taking a risk, turn off your brain and just do it. Do it scared if you're scared, mad if you're mad, sad if you're sad. It needs to get done. Cry later if it doesn't work. Have some ice cream, try again tomorrow. Stop all the planning and research late at night and just start. Figure it out along the way. Lastly is my future plans and advice to you. I'm still pursuing a degree in dental hygiene, get my bachelor's, go to dental school, and become a dentist. That's my long-term 10-year plan. I also want to create more content like this and help people, and if I can monetize it, great. If not, it's just a journey that I can look back on. I don't have anything figured out. I'm not an influencer, a guru, nor am I rich. I'm just as lost as everybody else. I just hope this inspires you to go to college. If you're thinking about going to college, start that high-paying skill. If you're thinking about learning a new skill or just any hobby that you really care about, just remember, finish the game and ask for help. No one ever said it was all. Hey, if you made it all the way to the end, I just want to say thank you and I appreciate the view. I hope you gained something useful from this video. If you did, feel free to give a like, leave a comment down below about your experience with college or any plans that you have for 2023 moving forward. I want to have a conversation with you guys below. Subscribe for more videos like this in the future. And I'm Devontae. Get some rest and take care of yourself.